Waking up multiple times a night just to pee? You might think it's just part of getting older, but what if it isn't? What if your own daily habits are secretly programming your bladder to interrupt your sleep, night after night? The truth is, over 70% of adults over 60 suffer from this, but it's not caused by aging alone. In fact, 5 surprising mistakes you make every day could be the real reason you're running to the bathroom at 2 a.m. Stick around, because once you understand what's really happening, you'll finally know how to take back your nights. The liquid trap. Most people think they've already solved the nighttime bathroom problem. "I don't drink water after 7 p.m., they'll say confidently. But what they don't realize is that their body doesn't just respond to water. It processes all liquids, whether they're hidden in food, drinks, or even medications. And that's where the real trap begins. Let's clear something up. Avoiding a glass of water before bed isn't enough. The body is still taking in fluids from places you might never suspect. That relaxing cup of chamomile tea, hydrating, the bowl of light soup at dinner, loaded with water. Even fruits like watermelon, melon, and oranges sneak in significant amounts of liquid that your kidneys will still process, especially when you're trying to sleep. And here's where things get interesting. Your kidneys don't work the same way all day. They're designed to slow down urine production at night, especially during sleep, thanks to a hormone called vasopressin. It's the body's natural way of letting you rest without interruption. But when you consume fluids in the 3 hours before bed, you override that system. Instead of resting, your kidneys are kicked into high gear, flooding your bladder with unnecessary urgency while you're trying to get deep sleep. And the consequences? Fragmented sleep, shallow rest, and constant exhaustion the next day. But there's more. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 72-year-old woman from Phoenix who was absolutely trapped in this cycle. She'd cut out all evening water, tried prescriptions, even considered surgery, but nothing worked. She still woke up 4 to 5 times a night, every night. She felt like a prisoner to her bladder. One day, she happened to mention to her doctor that she had a nightly routine, her wind-down ritual, a soothing cup of chamomile tea and a small bowl of soup. Innocent, right? Not quite. That small habit was sabotaging everything. Once Margaret learned that her pre-bedtime snacks were flooding her system with hidden fluids, she was shocked. She followed a new plan, setting a strict liquid curfew 3 hours before bedtime. Not just water, everything. Herbal tea, soup, juicy fruits, even popsicles. Within 2 weeks, Margaret was waking up just once a night. In a month, some nights she slept through without waking at all. But here's the real kicker. When you stop overloading your kidneys before bed, your body actually begins to heal itself. Your vasopressin levels normalize, your urine becomes more concentrated, meaning your bladder fills more slowly. You stay asleep longer, and the longer, deeper sleep triggers memory consolidation, immune system support, and cellular repair. In other words, you're not just reducing bathroom trips, you're actually slowing down the aging process. So how do you apply this? Set a firm cutoff, no liquids of any kind, within 3 hours of bedtime. If you sleep at 10 p.m., stop consuming all fluids by 7 p.m. That includes teas and coffee, juices, soups, water-rich fruits, watermelon, oranges, melon, grapes, ice cream, and popsicles. Even some medications. Check with your doctor if they require a nighttime dose with liquid. If you take medications late in the evening, speak to your doctor about shifting your schedule or reducing fluid intake during those times. And yes, emergencies happen. If you must, keep a tiny bottle of water by your bed, but only for medications or genuine thirst, not as a habit. Margaret now calls this her freedom strategy. After years of broken sleep and endless frustration, a simple shift in routine gave her back her energy, her independence, and her peace of mind. Because sometimes it's not about drinking less, it's about drinking smarter. And once you master this, the next habit might surprise you even more. Because what you're eating at night may be doing just as much damage. Dinner sabotage. Most people think of food as fuel, but very few realize just how directly what you eat, and when you eat, can mess with your sleep, especially when it comes to nocturia. The truth is, even if you stop drinking liquids early, certain foods can quietly undo all your effort and keep you locked in the cycle of waking up multiple times a night. And it all starts with timing. Late-night dinners are one of the most common habits among older adults, but they also happen to be one of the worst for bladder control. Why? Because your digestive system needs several hours, at least 3 to 4, to fully break down food and begin the recovery phase. When you eat too close to bedtime, your body is still in active mode when it should be winding down. And if those meals include ingredients with natural diuretic properties, you're practically guaranteeing that your bladder will wake you up before your alarm does. What counts as a diuretic? You might be surprised. Foods like tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, asparagus, watermelon, chocolate, and even certain herbs like parsley and cilantro all contain compounds that encourage the kidneys to produce more urine. And drinks like green tea, coffee, and even sleepy herbal teas, they do the same. It's a cruel twist. Many of the foods people believe are healthy actually fuel the very problem they're trying to avoid. That's exactly what happened to Robert, a 68-year-old retiree from Tampa. He thought he was doing everything right. Light dinners, fresh salads, green tea to help digestion. What he didn't know was that his 8:30 p.m. meals, and even the so-called healthy ingredients, were putting his body in overdrive at the worst possible time. He was waking up like clockwork, 1 a.m., 3:30 a.m., 5 a.m. He called it normal, but inside he felt like a zombie during the day, tired, groggy, barely functioning. Once Robert learned the truth, everything changed. He shifted his dinner time to 6:30 p.m., cut out all diuretic foods and drinks after 4 p.m., and committed to eating lighter, more sleep-friendly meals in the evening. The results came faster than he expected. Within 10 days, he was waking up just once per night. And after 3 weeks, he could sleep through 6 full hours without interruption. His energy returned. His mood improved. He felt like himself again, for the first time in years. What's fascinating is how the body responds when you align your eating habits with its natural rhythm. Late meals often trigger acid reflux, bloating, and fluid retention. This excess fluid is then released at night, right when your body should be resting. On top of that, salty or high-sodium foods cause water retention during the day, which the body works hard to flush out once you lie down. That means more pressure on your bladder, more urgency, and more sleep lost. The fix? Eat dinner earlier, ideally around 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., and avoid high-liquid, high-sodium, or diuretic foods after 4 p.m. Switch to ingredients that support sleep. Lean proteins, rice, sweet potatoes, bananas, oats, and steamed vegetables like carrots or broccoli. Skip the salad, skip the herbal tea, skip the chocolate. Your bladder will thank you. What's more, when your digestive system gets a break, you actually sleep deeper. The body isn't distracted by the work of processing food. Hormones stabilize, blood sugar stays even, and with less stress on the bladder and kidneys, you're far more likely to sleep undisturbed. Robert told me later that this one change completely reset his relationship with sleep. He eats early now, feels more rested in the morning, and even noticed his swelling and bloating went down. He said, "I feel 10 years younger, and all I did was move dinner back a few hours." It's incredible what happens when you stop fighting your body's clock and start working with it instead. And yet, even if you've nailed the timing and avoided hidden fluids, there's one more mistake that's keeping millions locked in the cycle. It's something most people do on purpose, thinking it's helpful. But in reality, it may be the habit that's causing the most damage of all. The bladder training mistake. You've probably heard the advice before. Go to the bathroom before bed, just in case. It sounds reasonable, like a responsible adult thing to do. But what if that habit is actually training your bladder to betray you? Because that's exactly what it's doing. And it's one of the biggest hidden reasons older adults continue waking up over and over again each night. Here's what most people don't realize. Your bladder isn't just a passive container. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it adapts to the patterns you create. When you consistently empty your bladder without a true urge, just to be safe, you're actually shrinking your bladder's functional capacity over time. You're teaching it that it doesn't need to stretch, that it should sound the alarm earlier and earlier. And the worst part? You'll start feeling the need to go even when there's barely anything there. What used to hold 400 or 500 milliliters comfortably now starts sending panic signals at 150. It's not because your bladder is broken. It's because you've trained it to overreact. And that false urgency becomes part of your nightly routine, whether your body truly needs relief or not. Dorothy, a 74-year-old widow from Seattle, had no idea she was falling into this trap. She described it as her nightly safety ritual. Every evening before getting into bed, she'd go to the bathroom, even if she didn't feel the need, just to be cautious. But within 2 hours, she'd be up again, feeling like her bladder was full. Then again, a few hours later. It never stopped. She assumed it was just part of aging, or maybe a side effect of her medications. But the truth was more surprising. She had unintentionally trained her bladder to sound the alarm too early and too often. Once she learned how to retrain it, everything changed. It didn't happen overnight. But by only going when she felt a clear and definite urge, Dorothy slowly taught her bladder to hold more. She distracted herself with soft music and calming activities when the just-in-case feeling hit without urgency. Over time, that false signal faded. Her capacity returned, and so did her sleep. She now sleeps 5 to 6 hours straight, something she hadn't done in years. And more importantly, she no longer fears bedtime, because she knows her body is in control, not her anxiety. The shift this creates isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. When you break the habit of unnecessary trips, you stop living in fear of your own bladder. You gain confidence. You begin trusting your body again. And that, in turn, helps reduce nighttime anxiety, a major trigger that can also wake you up even when there's no physical reason. If you're stuck in this loop, here's how to begin breaking it. Follow what's called the real need rule. Only use the bathroom before bed if the urge is clear and unmistakable, not mild, not anxious, clear. If you feel unsure, wait 15 to 20 minutes while doing something calming. You'll often realize there was never a real need in the first place. For those dealing with incontinence or on medications that increase urine output, it's always wise to speak with your doctor. In some cases, a guided bladder retraining protocol might be necessary. And for those with limited mobility, having a bedside solution available is fine, but resist using it unless it's a true emergency. Otherwise, you're just reinforcing the cycle. Dorothy said it best. I thought I was being cautious, but I was actually creating the very problem I was trying to avoid. Once I stopped, my body adjusted, and now I'm finally getting real sleep again. It's a small change, but one that can give you back your nights and your confidence. And if that surprised you, wait until you discover how something as simple as how you sleep, your position in bed, your pillows, could be pressuring your bladder without you even knowing it. Sleep position and pillows. Most people never think twice about how they sleep. They've been lying in the same position for decades, maybe on their stomach, maybe flat on their back, without realizing how much it could be working against them. But when it comes to nocturia, your sleep posture might be one of the most underestimated causes of nighttime bathroom trips. The way you position your body, and even the kind of pillow you use, can silently trigger bladder pressure and disrupt your rest without warning. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you sleep in positions that compress your abdomen, like lying flat on your stomach or curled up tightly on your side, you're putting physical pressure on your bladder. And while it might not seem like much, even mild pressure can stimulate those full signals, making your bladder think it's time to empty, even when it's not. That pressure, repeated night after night, can create a pattern of false urgency that keeps you waking up before you even reach deep sleep. But there's more to it than just position. Circulation plays a huge role in overnight urine production. When your body isn't properly aligned, when your spine is twisted, your hips are off balance, or your neck is unsupported, your circulation suffers. Blood and fluid tend to pool in the lower extremities throughout the day. And when you finally lie down, your body tries to rebalance those fluids. The kidneys, sensing the change, go into flush mode. More urine, more urgency, more waking up. That's exactly what happened to Frank, a 71-year-old veteran from Denver. After decades in the military, he was used to sleeping on his stomach, arms under his pillow. It felt natural, comfortable even. But as he got older, he began waking up 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a night to use the bathroom. He assumed it was prostate issues, maybe something medical, but everything came back normal. It wasn't until a physical therapist pointed out his sleep position that things started to make sense. Frank was unknowingly applying constant pressure to his abdomen, tightening his lower back and reducing circulation. All of this combined to trigger unnecessary bladder signals at night. At first, the idea of changing how he slept felt impossible, but he took it slowly, transitioning from stomach to side sleeping, using a medium firm pillow between his knees to keep his hips aligned. He also adjusted his head pillow to ensure his neck stayed neutral, not angled too high or too low. Within 2 weeks, Frank noticed a difference. He was down to 1 bathroom trip a night, and soon after, he began sleeping full stretches, 5, sometimes 6 hours uninterrupted. He said his back pain improved, his energy came back, even his mood shifted. The science supports it. When you sleep on your side, preferably the left side, with your spine properly aligned and your limbs supported, the bladder returns to its natural position. Circulation improves, fluid redistribution slows, and your body finally gets the chance to reach deeper, more restorative sleep. It's such a simple fix, yet incredibly powerful. To start, try placing a pillow between your knees to keep your hips level. Use a head pillow that keeps your chin slightly tucked, not pointing up. If you've always been a back or stomach sleeper, try leaning into your new position gradually. Use support pillows behind your back to prevent rolling. For people with arthritis or joint discomfort, ergonomic pillows can make the transition much more comfortable. And while this one change won't solve everything on its own, it can drastically reduce unnecessary bladder stimulation at night. Combined with the other habits, it becomes a force multiplier, giving your body the alignment it needs for restful, uninterrupted sleep. Frank told me later, "I always thought sleeping position was about comfort. I never imagined it could be the reason I was waking up all night. Now I sleep better than I have in 20 years. And if adjusting your posture made that much of a difference, just wait until you hear how something as subtle as the temperature in your bedroom might be messing with your hormones and making you pee more, even when you think you're sound asleep." Room temperature and sleepwear. You probably don't give much thought to how warm your room is at night, or what kind of pajamas you wear. But when it comes to waking up to pee multiple times, these subtle choices might be doing more damage than you realize. In fact, your room temperature and sleepwear could be silently interfering with one of the most important hormones your body uses to stay asleep and dry through the night. Let's talk about vasopressin. It's a hormone your body naturally produces to help reduce urine output while you sleep. Basically, it tells your kidneys to concentrate your urine so you don't have to go running to the bathroom. But here's the catch. Vasopressin doesn't just kick in on its own. It responds to signals from your body, especially body temperature. When your room is too warm or your pajamas don't allow your body to cool down properly, you disrupt the delicate thermal regulation process that should happen at night. Instead of cooling down and triggering hormone production, your body goes into a mild stress state. It starts dilating blood vessels to try to release excess heat, and this increases the volume of fluid circulating in your system. More fluid means more filtering, and more filtering means, you guessed it, more urine, at exactly the wrong time. This is what happened to Eleanor, a 69-year-old retired teacher living in sunny Miami. She had always preferred a warm, cozy bedroom. No air conditioning, thick flannel pajamas, heavy comforters. She thought she was doing her body a favor by staying warm, especially with the joint stiffness she sometimes experienced. But night after night, she found herself waking up drenched in sweat and sprinting to the bathroom. It wasn't until she read about the connection between room temperature and nocturia that something clicked. Eleanor had been unknowingly triggering her body to produce more urine at night, all because she was overheating while she slept. She made two simple changes. First, she started using a quiet air conditioner to keep her bedroom at a steady 66 degrees Fahrenheit, about 19 degrees Celsius. Second, she swapped her thick pajamas for lightweight, breathable cotton ones. Within a week, the results were dramatic. She went from waking up 4 or 5 times to just twice, and after 3 weeks, there were nights she didn't wake up at all. She said she felt like she had reclaimed her life. What's fascinating is how quickly the body responds once thermal stress is removed. When you sleep in a cooler environment, your core body temperature drops by about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. That drop is essential. It signals the brain to increase melatonin and vasopressin production. These two hormones work hand in hand. One keeps you asleep, the other keeps your bladder calm. Together, they help you achieve deep, uninterrupted rest. To make this work in your own life, start by setting your bedroom temperature between 64 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. Use natural, breathable fabrics like cotton, bamboo, or linen for your sheets and pajamas. Avoid synthetic materials that trap heat. And if you run cold, don't layer up too heavily. Use removable layers like a light blanket instead of bundling up in heavy, sweat-inducing clothing. If air conditioning isn't an option, even a ceiling fan or portable fan can make a huge difference by circulating air and preventing heat buildup. And if you're dealing with hot flashes or medications that affect your body temperature, talk to your doctor about how to manage those side effects without sacrificing sleep. Eleanor later told me, "I had no idea temperature had anything to do with how often I was getting up at night. I thought it was just part of getting older. But now I know better, and I sleep better." Sometimes the most overlooked details are the ones with the most powerful impact. And now that you've uncovered all 5 of these hidden habits, you're probably wondering, what's the best way to put all of them into action without feeling overwhelmed? Let's bring it all together. Now that you know the 5 hidden habits secretly disrupting your sleep, it's time to take control. Start with just one change tonight, and you might feel the difference by morning. If this helped you, tap that like button, subscribe for more life-changing health tips, and tell us in the comments, which habit surprised you the most?